Scripting has never been fun. I don't remember a game where I enjoyed it. It's always a mess of using some other language that just feels out of place. It feels limited. It just doesn't feel nice. And we wanted something that fixes that. We wanted Rogue Reborn to be about somebody that wants to come in and make a mission or make something new to the GUI or anything like that and say, I can do it in 2 minutes and I'm satisfied with the results. It's quick to do. It's easy to get a mod going. So this talk's titled Rogue Reborn in Google's V8, or why scripting and everything else is basically wrong. Okay, so what's our problem? So like I said, scripting sucks, but it's typically done in two ways. One way, it's fast. It's the compiled way, but it's slow to implement. Compile, move to the installation directory, run the program, see the results. If something bad goes wrong, go back into the GUI. That's the Quake 3 way, at least. A lot of applications have moved away from that. But the other way is typically done just wrong. It doesn't feel right. You have a limited syntax. It's almost like a markup language instead of a scripting language. But we're using Xreal, and Xreal is idTech3 plus stuff. It's still badly written C. It has a compiled GUI, and the limited scripting support Xreal added just gives us Lua, which I'm glad they did, but not our thing. It's not what we wanted. It's neat though. I mean, the VM's register based. It supports extensions, but it just looks horrible. It feels sloppy. Stacks and all this other fun stuff. It doesn't mix well with C++. There's too many initialization routines, unneeded management. It's just the error handling sucked. There's just non-stop things of stuff I didn't like. And since I'm doing most of this programming, I just decided to rip it out of the project. And I also decided that the GUI stuff needed to be completely rewritten. So it's the first part of the project that's going to be written in C++. So JavaScript, it's good. I like it. It's very dynamic. It can mimic object-oriented. It's used by a lot of people. It's a great library language, but it's one of those languages that you can really kill yourself with if you don't know what you're doing, at least. So it's only good as the engine backing it. There's a ton of gotchas, and it's in the middle of a midlife crisis. It's going to become a language of something completely different eventually, but it just doesn't know when. Luckily, V8's there. It's an amazing VM. It supports ECMA 262, 3rd edition. Stops the world. Its garbage collector is amazing. It's a stop the world generational accurate garbage collector. It's written in C++, and it's also written by Google, which is almost like a quality assurance. It doesn't support 64-bit applications, which we don't really care since Quake 3 already ruined that for us. But what do we like? What makes V8 just the thing to do? Well, it makes it easy to expose any part of the game. It also encourages rewrites, since the library is all written in C++, and if we want to expose something in the game, we have to port the old game to a new code base, which is fine. I enjoy doing it. No problem with that. The garbage collection is amazing, as I said before. It's fast property access. There's no intermediate bytecodes or an interpreter. It predicts class access, which is really neat. And it's made in the mindset of large JavaScript applications. So we figured that a game would be an awesome way to test that logic. So let's do a demonstration for GUI developers. Somebody that really gets the shaft when it comes to designing for a game. Okay, instead of just letting you guys watch me program, I'm just going to play this video at twice the speed and go over, just kind of explain what's going on. So first you can see we're creating a dictionary of just sources, just so they're easy to reference. And now we're going to define a new canvas, and it's a static image. Set the source, x and y values, and width and height, and then just save. Go into game, hit Control F1, and now we got our image right in game. So let's add something new. Let's put a grid on top of it. So define the grid, make it another static image, set the same attributes as before, and compile. Got a grid, but it looks pretty crappy, so let's add an opacity to it. And why not make it pulsate? That'd be pretty neat. So define a think function called 60 times per second, since the game runs at 60 frames per second. Do a few just logical conditions and when how to pulsate. And now we can just save and run it. And right about now. And now we got a pulsating grid. Really simple to add. Don't have to have images or deal with masks or anything like that. Just plain opacity. So now we can do other things. Let's make the idea of a waypoint. Just the concept, since we're doing this all from scratch. So we change the canvas color to white. Add a mask to it to make it black, and then we can start doing other things like setting methods on canvas like click events. So let's add a click. So it defines where you click at with the MXMY, where you're clicking at on the object, and so let's change out some images. Add a little waypoint image. And go back down here and add some simple logic. Okay, save, go back game, compile. Now we can just go ahead and we have to make this a movable image now because it has events. Static images, no events. So movable image can have like clicks, move tos, all that stuff. So now we can do a little bit more fun. Change out some images. Now make it they're a little bit more reasonable. But we can do even more. Let's add other things. Let's add some events to it, some think methods or click events. Let's make it so when you leave them alone, they just move on their own. So save that, and now if we go in game, they're moving, just really slow. So let's just make it move a lot faster than that. Now we got a nice little effect going on. And we can also add like mouse in events that if you touch it, it tries to move away from your mouse. All that, it's limitless in what you can do. I mean, you can import libraries. You can build libraries around this whole system as a modder, and then just distribute them for your game. There's no limit to what you can do here. And all these static or movable images are exported from C++. It's actually those are defined as classes inside the GUI game, the GUI object, and we just make them available to JavaScript. And you can do that to any of your classes. You can wrap anything, and you just define methods to access your class, and then you can just put them into the game. The hard part about this was just really learning V8, honestly. Had to spend like a weekend or so just studying the library, but this is the kind of results you get. Something that's very quick. You can add tons of elements to the screen and never really have to worry about it. And we can apply this to anything. So you can imagine you can have a player object and manipulate the player from a script, or you can force AI to move. You can add scripts for AI. You can add scripts for what the player should do for certain situations. There's no limit, and it's an intuitive way to look at things. JavaScript, when it's made like this and it's written in a way that's reasonable, looks right. There's a lot of people that are going to do it wrong, but that's their thing. You also got to be careful with if you right now for debugging purposes. When I make a bad error, it'll crash the game intentionally. I'll just call an abort. But really, what will happen is in the console, it'll show the error, which it does for soft errors, but hard errors, nothing. So that's the whole talk. Hopefully you guys enjoyed it. It's really long, but we're really proud of it. So stay tuned till the next update.